Welcome to this episode of the story. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 146, Watching in Secret for Key Clues, Danger Lurks Everywhere. After discussing the next plan with the people of Tianfeng Town, Sumu knew time was pressing. The spirit balancers and the black-robed man would surely be enraged by the loss of clues from their stronghold and launch a Fengquan retaliation. But at this moment, the top priority was to find the whereabouts of the Eye of the Spirit Abyss and stop their conspiracy from succeeding. Sumu decided to personally lead a scouting team back to the vicinity of Lingxi Town to secretly observe the movements of the spirit balancers. He knew that since the spirit balancers were active in this area, the key clues to finding the Eye of the Spirit Abyss might be hidden nearby. The group cautiously approached Lingxi Town and set up camp in a hidden valley. Sumu used his time-reversing spiritual energy to meticulously sense the surrounding environment, ensuring they weren't discovered by the spirit balancers. Then, he and the scouting team members took turns monitoring the spirit balancers' activities. After several days of observation, Sumu found that the spirit balancers frequently entered and exited several ancient ruins around Lingxi Town. These ruins were of great age, said to have once been the residences of powerful cultivators, but after years of vicissitudes, they were already in ruins. The spirit balancers paid such close attention to these places. Could the clues to the Eye of the Spirit Abyss be hidden there? Sumu decided to take the risk and explore one of the ruins. This ruin was located in a dense forest, surrounded by an eerie atmosphere. Sumu led the scouting team members through the broken walls and rubble carefully, searching meticulously for any possible clues. Suddenly, a team member found some strange runes under a collapsed stone tablet. These runes were somewhat similar to those Sumu had seen on the mysterious stone tablet in the relics. His heart stirred. Could this be the key to unlocking the secrets of the Eye of the Spirit Abyss? Just as Sumu was about to study these runes carefully, there was a sudden rustling sound in the forest. Everyone immediately became alert, unleashing their spiritual energy, ready to deal with possible dangers. A group of black shadows twinked from the trees, surrounding them in an instant. These shadows were agile, dressed in black, tight clothes, with black cloth covering their faces, only revealing pairs of cold eyes. "It's the mysterious assassins! How could they be here?" a team member whispered. Sumu knew in his heart that these assassins were closely related to the spirit balancers. It seemed their actions had long been detected by the spirit balancers, who had deliberately set this trap to lure them in. "Be careful, these assassins are quite powerful, and their target is probably the rune clues we found," Sumu said, while channeling his time-reversing spiritual energy and spatial spiritual energy to unleash the time-reverse spatial shield, protecting the team members inside. The assassins didn't hesitate at all and launched their attacks quickly. The blades in their hands glinted coldly as they pounced at Sumu and the others like ghosts. Sumu unleashed the time-reverse spatial shuttle slash, his figure disappearing from the spot in an instant, and the next moment appeared in front of an assassin. The multicolored spiritual energy longsword, with powerful force, slashed at the opponent. The assassin quickly raised his knife to block, but under the impact of Sumu's powerful spiritual energy, his arm went numb, and the blade in his hand almost fell off. Other team members also unleashed their spiritual energy techniques one after another, engaging in a fierce battle with the assassins. For a moment, spiritual energy lights flickered in the forest, and the sounds of shouting, killing, and clashing weapons echoed all around. In the battle, Sumu found that the attack methods of these assassins were extremely similar to those who had attacked him before, obviously from the same force. Moreover, they seemed to have some understanding of the spiritual energy characteristics of Sumu and the others, cooperating tacitly, trying to break through the time-reverse spatial shield and seize the rune clues. "I won't let them succeed," Sumu roared in his heart. He unleashed a prototype of the time-space reversal annihilation, and a colorful vortex appeared in front of him. In the vortex, the powers of time and space interwove, exuding a powerful deterrent force. The assassins felt this powerful force, their expressions changed slightly, and their attack rhythm was disrupted. Sumu took the opportunity to command the team members to concentrate their strength and launch an attack on the weak points of the assassins. With everyone's concerted efforts, they finally managed to repel the assassins. However, Sumu knew that this was just a tentative attack by the spirit balancers and the black-robed man, and a greater crisis was yet to come. We can't stay here long. The spirit balancers will definitely send more people. Let's take the rune clues back first and study them with the people of Tianfeng Town, Sumu said. Everyone quickly packed their things and headed for Tianfeng Town. After returning to Tianfeng Town, Sumu immediately handed over the rune clues to the mayor and the elders. The elders looked at these runes, their brows furrowed, deep in thought. These runes are very ancient, and we need time to interpret them. But from the current situation, the spirit balancers and the black-robed man are definitely also looking for clues related to the Eye of the Spirit Abyss. We must speed up our progress, one elder said. Sumu nodded in agreement. Elder, I'm worried that the spirit balancers and the black-robed man will attack Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town again. While interpreting the runes, we must also strengthen the defense of both towns to not give them an opportunity. As a result, Tianfeng Town and Lingxi Town began to further strengthen their defense forces. The cultivators of both towns patrolled day and night, and the spiritual energy defense array was activated to its maximum strength. At the same time, Sumu and the elders studied the rune clues together, trying to find the whereabouts of the Eye of the Spirit Abyss from them. However, just as they were making intensive preparations, the spirit balancers and the black-robed man took action again. They joined forces with some surrounding forces under their control to form a huge army, advancing menacingly towards Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town. Report. The spirit balancers have joined forces with many forces and are already at the city gates. Their numbers are huge, and they're coming in a menacing manner. A scout reported in a hurry. Sumu, the mayor, and the elders' expressions changed greatly. They knew that a life-or-death battle was imminent. Inform all cultivators to act according to the predetermined defense plan. We must hold the two towns and not let the spirit balancers and the black-robed man's conspiracy succeed, the mayor ordered loudly. Sumu quickly came to the city wall and watched as dust billowed in the distance, and the allied forces of the spirit balancers and the black-robed man surged forward like a tide. There was no fear in his heart, but instead, he was filled with firm Xinyan. Come on, no matter how many of you there are, I won't let you harm the people of Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town, let alone let you take the Eye of the Spirit Abyss and disrupt the balance of the spirit fantasy realm. Sumu clenched his fists and made a silent vow. The spirit balancers and the black-robed man stood in front of the allied forces, looking at Sumu and the others on the city wall with Zhengning smiles on their faces. Sumu, today is your doomsday. You think strengthening the defense can resist us? I'd like to see how long you can hold on. The spirit balancer leader laughed wildly. The black-robed man said sinisterly, after capturing these two towns, I'll make you live in worse than death. The Eye of the Spirit Abyss will eventually be ours. With that, the spirit balancer leader waved his spiritual energy staff and muttered incantations. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, and beams of spiritual energy fell from the sky, honging towards the city walls of Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town. Boom! 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 The city walls trembled violently under the attack of the spiritual energy beams. The spiritual energy defense array flickered with light, and the runes Taodong barely resisting the attack. Sumu looked at the enemies outside the city wall and knew in his heart that this would be a tough battle. He turned to the cultivators behind him and shouted, "Everyone listen! Maintain the spiritual energy defense and don't panic. Prepare to counterattack according to the plan." The cultivators responded in unison, their eyes firm. They knew that this battle was about the survival of the two towns and the peace of the spirit fantasy realm. They couldn't back down. Sumu unleashed the ultra-enhanced time-reverse spatial shield, covering the entire city wall to enhance the defense. At the same time, he commanded the cultivators to use the spiritual energy turrets on the city wall to launch a counterattack against the enemies. For a moment, spiritual energy lights interwove on the battlefield, and the sound of shouting and killing was deafening. The allied forces of the spirit balancers and the black-robed man were numerous, surging towards the city wall like a tide, trying to break through the defense by force. The cultivators of Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town, relying on the solid defense works and the powerful spiritual energy defense array, resisted stubbornly. In the fierce battle, Sumu noticed that when the spirit balancers were commanding the allied forces to attack, they seemed to be deliberately hiding something. He was puzzled. Did the spirit balancers have some other trick up their sleeves? Be careful, the spirit balancers may have a conspiracy. Stay alert, Sumu loudly reminded everyone. At this moment, a commotion suddenly broke out in the rear of the allied forces. Sumu's heart moved. Could it be that other forces had come to support them? Or was there a problem within the spirit balancers? Sumu carefully observed the situation in the rear of the allied forces, trying to figure out what was happening. However, the battlefield was chaotic, filled with smoke, making it hard to see the details clearly. Anyway, this is our chance to counterattack. Follow me. Sumu seized the opportunity, unleashing the time-space reversal annihilation to launch a powerful attack against the allied forces. A powerful, colorful vortex exploded in the enemy group in an instant, and the enemies were thrown into chaos. The cultivators of Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town, seeing Sumu launch an attack, were greatly encouraged and followed Sumu out of the city gate, engaging in close combat with the enemies. On the battlefield, spiritual energy lights flickered, and the sounds of shouting, killing, and screaming interwove. Sumu led the cultivators in fighting bravely. His time-reversing spiritual energy and spatial spiritual energy exerted great power, and wherever he went, enemies fell one after another. However, the spirit balancers and the black-robed man were no pushovers. They quickly stabilized the allied forces' formation, commanding their subordinates to fight to the death against Sumu and the others. The battle entered a white-hot stage, and both sides suffered many casualties. In the fierce fight, Sumu suddenly noticed a black-robed man sneaking towards the core of Lingxi Town's spiritual energy defense array. His heart skipped a beat. Could the spirit balancer's conspiracy be to destroy the spiritual energy defense array? No good. Someone is going to destroy the defense array. We can't let him succeed, Sumu shouted, unleashing the time-reverse spatial shuttle and rushing towards that black-robed man in an instant. When that black-robed man saw that Sumu had discovered him, a trace of a Junying smile appeared on his face. A black spiritual energy ball suddenly appeared in his hand, which he threw towards the core of the spiritual energy defense array. No! Sumu was in a great hurry. He channeled all his spiritual energy, trying to stop the black spiritual energy ball from approaching the core of the defense array. However, the black spiritual energy ball was extremely fast and was about to hit the core. At this critical moment, could Sumu successfully stop the black spiritual energy ball from destroying the spiritual energy defense array? Could Lingxi Town and Tianfeng Town withstand the allied forces of the spirit balancers and the black-robed man in this life-or-death battle? Everything was full of suspense, making people can't help but worry about their fate. The story continues, and the next episodes will be more exciting. Subscribe as soon as possible.